I sat down with Conservative House Leader Andrew Scheer at the Tory convention earlier this week before party members had voted on or debated any policy proposals. Have a listen to our conversation. Hi, Mr. Scheer. Good to see you again.
Great to see you too.
I appreciate you making the time. You've said if the Conservatives form government that you'll bring down both mortgage and interest rates. How?
Well, interest rates rise to offset inflation. Inflation is caused by Justin Trudeau's inflationary deficits. Even the Bank of Canada governor finally admitted that increased rate of growth in government spending contributes to inflation. So Pierre Poilievre's common sense plan to reduce those inflationary deficits will ease the pressure on it, will ease up on inflation, and therefore interest rates can come down.
So I interviewed the chief economist this week from Scotiabank, who said yes, exactly that echoed the Bank of Canada's governor, that yes, inflationary spending by the government does contribute to inflation. But his assessment was it had contributed about 50 or 75 basis points to the rate of increase that we've seen of interest rates. So let's say you get spending under control, you eliminate deficit spending. That means that the interest rate goes down to 4.5%. That's not eliminating the increases that we've seen.
That's completely false. The inflation that Canadians are suffering through was caused by Justin Trudeau flooding the Canadian economy with hundreds of billions of dollars of brand new cash made up right out of thin air. That is what caused inflation to skyrocket to some of the highest levels that we've seen in recent memory. So that's the cause of inflation. When the government prints money and floods the economy with it, prices go up. More dollars chasing fewer goods causes inflation. That is like a basic monetary policy principle. So when Pierre Poilievre brings that inflationary spending to an end, we'll see inflation go down and interest rates.
What you're describing though is quantitative easing, a policy pursued by the Bank of Canada, which is now pursuing a policy of quantitative tightening. So I don't understand what Pierre Poilievre is going to do differently than what the bank is doing right now that's all of a sudden going to eliminate interest rates and bring them down to what?
So you rightly point out that as the Bank of Canada is trying to undo their mistakes by bringing in that quantitative tightening, so to speak, they're pushing on the brake. The government is slamming on the gas pedal by racking up even greater deficits. Just about a year ago, the finance minister promised that she'd bring inflationary deficits under control, and she actually said that a rampant increase in spending would add fuel to the inflationary fire. Just a few months later, in her budget, completely blew past that, added a whole bunch of new spending, and we saw inflation go up and interest rates go up along with it.
But I guess I'm confused because on one hand you're saying it's quantitative easing that caused inflation and you're going to bring that under control. On the other hand, you're saying it's government spending.
It's absolutely both.
But I'm telling you that the economists who have assessed it, specifically government spending,
some economists
say that it contributed 50 basis points or 75 basis points to the increase in interest rates. So you get rid of $26 billion deficit in 2025 when your party, is supposed to form government, let's say. That does not get rid of all of the interest rate hikes that we've seen.
There are some economists, many of whom work for big banks, who got that extra money first, got all the brand new cash from the Bank of Canada first. Some economists say that, but Canadians understand that when you just flood the economy with hundreds of billions of dollars without new growth, without increase in productivity, you're going to get inflation, more dollars chasing fewer goods. That is just a fundamental principle.
There was a time a year ago when the leader of your party, Pierre Poilievre, told Canadians that if they opt into cryptocurrency, they can opt out of inflation. Why should Canadians trust your party to be economic stewards, given the fact that cryptocurrency has imploded in the interim?
Well, I think you have to remember at the time, people were desperately trying to preserve the value of their paycheck. They were looking for ways to protect their hard-earned money as Justin Trudeau was eroding it with his inflationary policies. So, there's lots of things people can look at to protect themselves from government action. But the good news is, with Pierre, that spending comes under control, the deficits go down, inflation goes down, interest rates go down. It's a win-win-win.
Do you still believe, though, that opting into cryptocurrency will help people opt out of inflation? Was it a mistake to say something like that?
I don't give investment advice, Vashti.
Should your party's leader have?
All I know is that when inflationary deficits come to an end, inflation will also come down, and then interest rates can come down. Right now, there's a massive crisis. I know you want to. I know many in the media, many economists who make money giving advice and stuff like that. They want to protect Justin Trudeau's record on that. But the thing to understand is that there is a wave of mortgage holders in Canada that are panicked because they locked in at lower mortgage rates, and they see this looming crisis coming where they know they're not going to be able to stay in their homes if they have to renew at 6 and 7%. That's what we're focused on. Pierre and our Conservative team have a common sense plan to bring inflation down so interest rates can come down so people can stay in their homes. That's what this is all about.
But does that mean just eliminating the deficit? Is that the plan?
absolutely the plan is to get back to balanced budgets. Conservatives know that when you just borrow and stack debt on top of debt, do you know in the next few years, the government of Canada will spend more tax dollars on servicing the debt than they will on healthcare? That's not a sustainable path for us to be on. That's why Pierre's plan is resonating with so many Canadians across the country, because they're seeing it every day. They're seeing the value of their paychecks erode. They see month to month prices going up in the grocery store. They want it to end. They want to be able to stay in their home. And that's why this plan is so needed.
I certainly would not disagree with that sentiment. And with all due respect, there are many Liberal ministers I question about their own policies. And my questions to you, though, are about what you're proposing. And I just want to circle back, because you're saying that the plan to fix the economy, to fix interest rates, is the one that Canadians should believe. But this is the same party that told them a year ago to get out of inflation, you can opt into cryptocurrency, which has imploded.
That is not an accurate reflection of what was said.
He said opt in and opt out.
What Pierre was speaking to is that there are many, many Canadians that were looking for ways to protect the value of their hard-earned savings or their paycheck. There was a tremendous amount, there still is, a tremendous amount of frustration when people say, I don't get it. Last year this bag of apples was $7, now it's $9, but my wages haven't gone up.
So how will cryptocurrency save that?
No, the point is when the government of Canada, under Justin Trudeau, is deliberately eroding the value of people's paychecks and people's savings, obviously people are going to be looking for ways to protect themselves. Where we're at right now is Canadians will have a choice. More of the same from Justin Trudeau, more massive deficits, more inflationary spending, higher inflation and higher interest rates, or Pierre's common sense plan to do what every Canadian household has to do. Live within our means so that inflation comes down and interest rates fall too, and people can stay in their homes.
Over what period? And I'm asking that question because I think when people are listening and say, oh, my interest rates might go down, fantastic, right? My mortgage rate might go down. They are all genuinely worried about that right now. But that happening 5 years from now, or 6 or 7 or 8, is a long ways away. If you are going to balance the budget, as you say, in order to make that happen, how soon are you going to do it?
Well, Canadians will see a plan for the next term when Pierre unveils his election platform. But what I can tell you is that it will be a responsible plan, a common sense plan, because the window is closing. We only have, as a country, we only have a short window available to us to take the measures now to prevent that mortgage crisis from happening. If we allow Justin Trudeau to just continue doing this, or Liberal governments to just continue doing more of the same, more inflationary spending, then a whole lot of Canadians, a massive amount of Canadians, are going to have terrible conversations with their mortgage holders, and terrible decisions will have to be made. So
why won't you say now, though, when over what period of time? Like you want Canadians to believe it's all going to be fixed under a Conservative government, but you're not giving them any of the specifics about how you're going to get there.
Well, we've already identified many areas where the Liberal government has wasted money that would be low-hanging fruit. So the Canada Infrastructure Bank, that has $35 billion of taxpayers' money, hasn't completed a single project. The $250 million that was sent to the Asian Infrastructure Bank to allow the communist regime in Beijing to expand its influence in the region.
A big part of what you're talking about when it comes to affordability is, of course, housing. The CMHC says 5.8 million new homes need to be built in order to restore affordability by 2030. Is that something that your party will promise to accomplish? What
we've promised to accomplish is to incentivize municipalities to speed up approval processes so that more homes can come on the market, and penalize those that pursue more of the same types of policies that have caused the crisis in the first place. We believe that letting local decision makers decide how they get there, but by having clear targets that they must hit in order to get the federal infrastructure dollars that they demand, that's going to be an incredibly important part of the piece. Also, Pierre's promised to sell off this, I think it's around 6,000 federal buildings that are vacant or underutilized and just taking up space in our cities, convert that into housing as well.
Again, my question was about the overall target for that plan, right? It's one thing to tell Canadians, I've got a different plan, but if they don't know what you're setting out to accomplish, it's hard for them to assess whether it's better than the one that's on the table right now. The CMHC clearly says nearly 6 million new homes are needed by 2030. Will the Conservative Party aim to accomplish that goal?
First of all, I would argue that anything that incentivizes municipalities to kickstart approval processes and get new homes on the market would be better than what we have now.
Well, there's a housing accelerator fund that's just started now.
It's not working. The Liberal policies aren't working, Vashi, and the way that they reward the gatekeepers, the way that they have really done nothing to address the supply part of the problem. That's what Pierre's
They're not
talking
free
about.
of criticism, of course, but I'm asking you very
understand. I
clearly,
understand.
are you going to build 6 million homes? Are you going to lead efforts to build 6 million homes? Or will you just say, I'm going to change stuff and hope for the best?
We are going to lead efforts to ensure that Canadians have the homes they need to meet population growth. That is absolutely a commitment. There's lots of ways to do that. We're going to be focusing on ensuring that municipalities do their job, and other measures as well, but absolutely the goal is to dramatically increase the number of homes that are built.
Okay, Mr. Scheer, I'm out of time. I'll leave it there. Thanks for your time.
Thanks
Appreciate it
very
as
much.
always.